discuss about D multiplexer. So what is D multiplexing? So it is a process of getting information from one input and transmitting the same over one of many outputs. This is called D multiplexing. Means we have one input, we have multiple output. Now this input has to go to the either of the output based on the select line. A demultiplexer is a combinational logic circuit that receives the information on a single input and transmit the same information over one of n possible output lines. So there is one input line, n output line, and there are select lines log base to n. Now in order to select a particular output, we have to use a set of select lines. And the bit combination of the select lines controls the selection of the specific output to be connected to the input at a given instant. So this is what I said. Based on the select lines values, the particular output is being selected and it is being connected to the input. So basic idea of a demultiplexer by means of a switching circuit is like this. Y0, Y1, Y2, Y3, these are the four outputs. So input would be connected to Y0 or it would connected to Y1, Y2, Y3, those output depending upon the select line. If the multiplexers are called data selectors, then demultiplexers, what they are called? They are called data distributors. Demultiplexer transmit the same information which is received at the input to the different destination. That is why it is called data distributors. Why it is called data distributors? Because the same information which is at the input, it distributed to many outputs depending upon the value of the select line at a particular instance. So now we will discuss 1 to 2 demultiplexer. 1 to 2 demultiplexer consists of one input line and there are two output lines. Okay. Now in order to get two output lines, how many select lines we need? We need one select line that can have the value of 1 or 0. The signal on the select lines helps to switch the input to one of the two output. Okay, when it is 0, select line is 0, then the D input will go to Y0. When it is 1, it will go to Y1. 1 to 2 demultiplexer with additional input. So usually with demultiplexer we have additional input, that is the enable input. When the enable input is 1, then only the outputs Y0, Y1 or let it be Yn, they will have the value of whatever is there is the input. But if it is 0, usually they have the floating value. Truth table of a 1 to 2 demultiplexer is shown below. Okay. Now, in which the input is routed to Y0 and Y1 depending upon the values of select input S. We have the select input S, you see, select input S. And here is the D input and here are the output Y1, Y0. Now two input are there, select input and the data input. Four combinations 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. Now when it is 0, 0, that means select line is 0, so Y0 is selected, but data is 0, so Y0 is 0. Okay, when 0, 1, at this time also Y0 is selected, data input is 1, so Y0 is 1. Now 1, 0. Select input is 1, Y1 is selected, data input is 0, so Y1 is 0. Select input is 1, Y1 is selected, data input is 1, so Y1 is 1. Now here we are making the K map of Y0 and Y1. You see S1 S0, D1 D0, 0 1, 0 0, Y0 is coming as S dash D and Y1 is coming as SD. That is the circuit of 1 to 2 demultiplexer. You see Y0, Y1, Y0 AND of S1 bar and D and Y1 AND of S and D. We will discuss about 1 to 4 demultiplexer. A 1 to 4 demultiplexer has a single input D. There are two select line S1 and S0 and 4 output Y0 to Y3. Okay, now the input goes to any of the 4 outputs at a given time for a particular combination of the select lines. That means when the select lines are 0, 0, Y0 is selected. When select lines are 0, 1, Y1 is selected. When select lines are 1, 0, Y2 is selected. Select line are 1, 1, Y3 is selected. And D input go to the respective output. Input goes to any of the 4 output at given instance of time for a particular combination of select line. The D multiplexer is also called as 2 to 4 demultiplexer, which means that it has 2 select line and 4 output lines. Now here it is 1 to 4 demux. Input pin is there, D in. S1 and S0 are the select line and these are the output. Now we will draw the truth table of 1 to 4 demultiplexer. You see, S1, S0 are the select line and D is the input. 3 inputs, 8 combination. Outputs, 2 input line, 2 select lines, so 2 raised to 2, 4 output. Now when the select lines are S1, S0 is 0, 0. So Y0 is selected, D input is 0, output is 0. Again 0, 0. Y0 is selected, D input is 1, Y0 is 1. For 0, 1, Y1 is selected, D input is 0, Y1 is 0. S1, S0, 0, 1. Again Y1 is selected, D input is 1, Y1 is 1. S1, S0, 1, 0. Y2 is selected, D input is 0, Y2 is 0. Again Y2 is selected for 1, 0 combination of select line, D input is 1, Y2 is 1. For S1, S0, 1, 1, Y3 is selected, D input is 0, Y3 is 0, D input is 1, Y3 is 1. The key map of Y0, D1, D dash, D, S1 bar, S0 bar, S1 bar, S0, S1, S0, S1 and S0 bar. Only for this combination S1 bar, S0 bar, D, it is 1. Okay. So Y0 is S1 bar, S0 bar, D. Again for Y1, if you see, for Y1 only for what combination it is 1? When S1 bar, S0, D. S1 bar, S0, D, it is 1. For rest of the combination it is. Now for 0. Y2, when it is 1, Y2 is 1, S1, S0 bar and D. S1, S0 bar and D, it is 1. For rest of the cases it is 0. So Y2 is this Boolean equation. For Y3 is 1 when it is 1. When S1 is 1, S0 is 1, D is 1, Y3 is 1. Okay. So here is the D multiplexer circuit of 1 to 4 demux. So S1, S0, NOT gate has been put. S1, S0, here is the NOT, here is the NOT, D input. D input is going to all the 4 AND gate. Okay. Now for this one, Y0, S1 bar and S0 bar going. So Y0, D in. Okay. Here for Y1, what are the input? D in is there for all of them. Here it is S1 bar and S0. Here it is S1 and S0 bar. Here it is S1, S0. For all of them, enable input is given. Another input is enable. When the enable is 1, then only this all the AND gates are functional. Additionally, there is an enable input, or we can say the strobe input, okay, which acts as a global enable input. The outputs are active only when the enable bit is high. So this point to be noted. If you like the video, please share with your friends. Please subscribe the channel. Have a nice day. Bye.